And online, you can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Guatemala's president is vowing to enforce justice after prison uprisings and deadly attacks on law enforcement in Guatemala City.
The U.S. Embassy is advising caution for personnel in Guatemala, and the country's president, Bernardo Arévalo, declared a state of emergency amid a wave of suspected gang attacks. The violence began Saturday with coordinated prison riots, where inmates at 3 prisons held guards hostage. That was followed by attacks against police across the capital on Sunday. Guatemala's National Civil Police Director, David Custodio Boteo, said 9 officers have died and several are critically wounded. President Arévalo pledged a forceful response as he spoke at a ceremony for the fallen officers.
Correspondent Jennifer King. Spain has begun 3 days of mourning for the victims of the deadly train accident in the country's south. While emergency crews continue searching for bodies at the crash scene, the official death toll from Sunday's accident has risen to 40. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, the basketball state has won it all in football.
They are celebrating in the Hoosier State, and why not? Last time Indiana went undefeated, we'll try 1976 when Bobby Knight took Indiana all the way in the March Madness Final Four. But this is different. It's football, and the Hoosiers are 16-0 and at the very top, defeating Miami 27-21 for the college football championship. By the way, President Trump was in the stands for what he says turned out to be a great game. Jason Walker reporting.
Japan's space program marks a milestone. It was this week in 2024. Japan became the 5th country to reach the moon, an unmanned spacecraft touching down on the lunar surface. The milestone put Japan in a club previously occupied only by the U.S., the Soviet Union, India, and China. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. Number 1, 1 year ago, Donald Trump was inaugurated for his second 4-year term as President of the United States. His accomplishments have been dramatic, and yet the left has aggressively continued to divide the country. Number 2, Trump is landing in Davos, Switzerland, momentarily to tell the European countries, you guys can't defend Greenland. We can. Give it up. Well, it's a negotiating tactic. We're going to end up getting Greenland. Number 3, a spectacular college football national championship game last night as Indiana University, the Hoosiers, defeated the University of Miami Hurricanes 27-21 to cap off a magical undefeated season. Number 4, Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback of Indiana, had an iconic 4th and 4 touchdown run. Wow, what a game. Number 5, Indiana coach Curt Cignetti finally smiled after the game. He said, quote, if I were smart, I would retire now, but we need the money. People like Curt Cignetti. Number 6, the Department of Justice is likely to prosecute FACE Act violations of dozens of leftists and Don Lemon, who interrupted a church service in Minnesota. Number 7, E.J. Haas joins us in hour 2 to talk about the Minnesota craziness. In particular, we're going to talk about how law enforcement there is not enforcing the law and how the Attorney General there is misreading everything intentionally about the Constitution. Number 8, Clint Brewer joins us in hour 3. More about politics, more about the President Trump, and Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, went to Parliament and told them you need to keep freedom of speech. Number 9, Tom Pappert will join us at the bottom of the hour. He'll talk about a couple of Tennessee stories. There's an immigration bill that would require a license suspension of any non-English speakers. And, of course, we've got a lot of interest in more education scholarships. So there you go. There is the morning rundown for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. It is brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. And as you know, they've been our sponsor for many years. And my good friend Lenny McGill is the guy who founded them 40 years ago. Basically, the Glock Store is all about Glocks. That's why Lenny named it the Glock Store. Have you heard about the latest Glocks, the Gen 6s? Well, you can bet Lenny has. Lenny tells me the new Gen 6 Glocks have a new optic system, RTF6 texturing, an enlarged beaver tail, a flat-face trigger, a trigger guard undercut, and an integrated thumb rest. That's also known as the gas pedal. I love that name for it. Well, to be honest, I don't know what most of that even means. But you can bet Lenny McGill does. In fact, Lenny McGill tells me the Gen 6 Glocks are definitely the most refined Glocks ever produced. And as you might expect, the Glock Store has already received their first shipment of Gen 6 G17s, G19s, and G45s, and they were literally gone before they even arrived at the warehouse. That's because the Glock Store is letting you pre-order these new Gen 6 Glocks, so you'll be the first one to get your hands on it. And as a thank you for your pre-order, you'll get an extra magazine when you receive your new Gen 6 Glock. Here's what you do. Go to Glockstore.com. That's Glockstore.com. Click on the Gen 6 tab at the top of the website. Place your pre-order for the Glock or Glocks of your choice. When they ship your new Glock to the FFL of your choice, or you pick it up at the Glock Store retail showroom here in Nashville, the Glock Store will throw in an extra magazine. Now, this is a limited time offer only for pre-orders and only for my friends at the Glock Store, the #1 source for Glock parts, accessories, and the new Gen 6 Glocks. Visit Glockstore.com today. I promise you'll be glad you did. Now, I'm told that our friends at the Glock Store have some special stuff going on for as we are about to celebrate the 9th anniversary of the Tennessee Star, our website, TennesseeStar.com, the only America First conservative news outlet in the entire state of Tennessee. That comes, February 6th or 7th, we'll be celebrating that. I guess it's on the 7th, which is Saturday. We'll celebrate it on the 6th, which is Friday. So there you go. A little bit to come on that. All right, let's go now to the craziness in Minnesota. Here is the Attorney General there, Keith Ellison, talking to Don Lemon, who was a perpetrator of this invasion in the church, totally misrepresenting the First Amendment. Clip 1.
The protest is fundamental to American society. This country started in a protest, and it's freedom of expression. People have a right to lift up their voices and make their peace, and none of us are immune from the voice of the public. So I think that you got the First Amendment, freedom of religion, and the First Amendment, freedom of expression. And I think that, it's just something you got to live with in a society.
Yeah, okay, so he's wrong about the First Amendment. When he talks about the right to assemble, the First Amendment says the right of the people peaceably to assemble. That's not what they were doing. And that's not what Don Lemon was doing. CNN kind of went in and talked to him about it as well. And here we go. More Keith Ellison trying to cover his tracks.
Minnesota, Keith Ellison, central in all of this. And Attorney General, I just want to start with that protest at the church in St. Paul, which is now getting so much coverage. And, of course, now the DOJ. You heard Todd Blanche just speaking out moments ago about it, the Deputy Attorney General. Do you think the DOJ has any case against any of the protesters there?
Well, we live in the age where people like Jerome Powell are under investigation, Tish James, James Comey, Mark Kelly, Elise Slotkin, the list goes on and on. Under this DOJ, wrongdoing has nothing to do with whether they're going to focus or investigate you. So I wish in a normal time I would say no. I say this is First Amendment activity. In time like this, it's just really difficult to say because the only one thing is clear: if Trump likes you, you can do no wrong. If he doesn't, he's going to use every weapon he can against you, including our criminal justice system.
I hear everything you're saying. I'm wondering if you have any frustration that this happened in a church. And look, I know the protesters say that one of the pastors was an ICE official, and DHS has not confirmed or denied that, right? So you would think if it weren't true, they would have denied it. But we don't know. They haven't said. But obviously, the optics of going into a place of worship are not necessarily great. Does it frustrate you that it happened this way?
Look, here's what frustrates me: over 3,000 ICE agents escalating into our state. A threatened 1,500 active duty military soldiers. That's what frustrates me. This situation is 100% because of Operation Metro.
All right, I just can't take it anymore. First, the CNN talking head there said, yeah, Todd, tell me about the protests at the church. It was not a protest. It was not, they were not peaceably assembling. They were violating a federal statute that makes it illegal, a crime, to interrupt a church service. And that's what they were doing in a very aggressive way. And look, we'll talk more with Clint Brewer about this in hour 3. But the FACE Act, people were convicted of that for just praying outside of an abortion clinic. It was a lot more than that. There will be charges. Hey, when we come back, let's talk about the miracle season of Indiana University football and their championship last night. What a game. Back after this.
Ponder this, Judgment Day, the day you go before the Lord face to face. For many of us, this day seems like a long way away, and we are told that all of us will be in a better place when we die. What many of us forget is that our God is a God of justice. On Judgment Day, you will stand before the Lord and account for all of your thoughts, words, and actions during your time here on earth. You might be thinking that you're not such a bad dude, you didn't kill anyone, and you went to church every now and then, so you've earned your ticket to heaven. Hold that thought, as the Lord has told us what we need to get through those pearly gates. We must believe in Him, be baptized, follow Him by keeping His commandments, love Him, and love our friends and enemies. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you possess, how many awards or accolades are on your resume, or how much money you have, nor how high you are on the ladder of success. Judgment Day is real, and you are not judged by a jury of your peers. Prepare each day for Judgment Day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including via
TCPA benefits.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Last night in the national championship game for NCAA football, Indiana University defeated the University of Miami Hurricanes 27-21. It was a dramatic game, and Indiana University finished with an undefeated season, 16-0. Now, let me put this in context. We'll get to some of the great plays and reactions to it. But 2 years ago, Indiana University had a 3-win and 9-loss season, and they hired a new football coach, Curt Cignetti. And here was his first opening press conference. Listen to this.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Okay, now this guy's a he's a very serious guy. I saw him smile like for the first time last night after his team has won. Well, I Googled him. What was his record before he went to Indiana? It was a spectacular record in several colleges. He had a record of 119 wins and 35 losses. That's about a 75% winning record. And he coached for 6 years at, ironically, a Division II team in Pennsylvania. It's got a funny name, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. I know it's a different college. So he coached there. He had a 53-17 record there. He went up to a Division I in Elon in North Carolina, won 14-9 there. Then he spent 5 years at James Madison University. He was 52-9 there. Now, having said all this, okay, that's great, but to go from 3-9 to last year, his first year at Indiana, he was 11-2, and then this year 16-0. That is spectacular. That is an Indiana. That's a new Hoosiers movie. Remember that high school basketball movie with Gene Hackman and Barbara Hershey? About a small high school that won the state championship, I think in 1954 in Indiana. Well, this is like another movie. There's many elements to it. Another element to this is the quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, who won the Heisman Trophy and is from Miami, where, of course, the game was played last night. He was they do the recruits. They do 1-star to 5 stars, the best being 5-star. He was a 2-star recruit. He wanted to go to the University of Miami, but they wouldn't even let him walk on to play with the team. So he went to the University of California, Berkeley for a couple of years, and then transferred this year to Indiana University. I am going to play for you right now. I'll describe it. You can watch it if you're watching us on YouTube or X or Roku Apple TV, Fire Stick, you can see it. But let me set it up for you. Okay, so here's the setting. The score is 17-14. And I think there were like 6 minutes left in the game. The Hoosiers, the Indiana Hoosiers, more on that later, were down at the 12-yard line of Miami, but they had a 4th and 4. 4th and 4. And so the question is, well, what would a typical coach do at this time? Well, they'd kick a field goal, right? But this is a national championship game, and you think if you kick a field goal there, in the second half, the University of Miami was really moving along. And so the likelihood that there would be I think it may have actually been like 4.5 minutes left, something like that. But the likelihood that Miami's offense was revving up, the likelihood that they'd score another touchdown was pretty high. So in order to win, basically, they decided not to kick the field goal. They stayed on the field. And what they ran was a classic quarterback draw, Fernando Mendoza. And I'm going to describe it for you. You know, if you have a quarterback sneak, the quarterback everybody's expecting it. They're just trying to get a yard. A quarterback draw, it's called a draw because typically a draw play is when you wait a little bit and you try to, if you will, draw the defenders in and you look like you're going to pass, but then you hand off to one of the running backs. That's a draw. Well, in this instance, there's also a quarterback draw that can be run. Don't do it very often, but it's a design play. That's what they called. Let's play the clip right now of this 4th and 4, fourth quarter, really bold call by Curt Cignetti, and then a spectacular run by Fernando Mendoza. Let's play it right now. Okay, so here we go. Goes back, running through. He's at the 5-yard line, first down. Oh, he's hit, spins, dives. I mean, I'm telling you, that is one of the most iconic plays in college football history. So they go up 24-14, and as expected, comes back. And Miami comes back. They score a touchdown, 24-21. Indiana goes. They kick a field goal, 27-21. Miami gets the ball, and with like 40 seconds left, they're at the 40-yard line. And Carson Beck goes back and throws a long ball for thinking he's going to be a touchdown. And then a defensive back, another kid from who was from Miami, intercepts the ball. And basically the game's over. It was dramatic. And Miami played well, particularly in the second half. And it was not the best game by Indiana, but it was a gritty national championship win by Indiana. Here's Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback, talking about everything at the end of the game. Clip 5.
Fourth quarter, you're leading by just 3 points, and coach decides to go for it on 4th down. What did he say to you in that huddle, and how did you execute it?
That's one thing about our team. We're always going to put all on the line. And, I want to give all the glory and thanks to God there. My offensive lineman blocked perfectly, and we're able to execute the team towards a common goal, have the Indiana Hoosier synergy to score, and then give our team a chance to win the game.
How did you get it in there, though? You had to go airborne, Fernando.
I had to go airborne, and I'll die for my team. Whatever they need me to do, they need me to take, shots from the front and the back, whatever it is, I'm going to die for my team out there, and I know they're going to do the same for me. That's what makes us so close, and that's what makes this national championship so special.
There you go. All right, so let's go on now to Curt Cignetti talking after the game. Clip number 9.
It took a lot to get here, but I'll tell you what it took to come out ahead in this game was a lot of guts. I give Miami a lot of credit. They played really hard. We couldn't get anything done couldn't protect quarterback at all. Made a few plays and adjustments, but they were back shoulders and a sprint out, got the ball, run game going. Made the interception when we had to. A couple 4th down, we went for it. Mendoza, great run. Took some chances, found a way. Let me tell you, we won the national championship at Indiana University. It can be done, and I'm so happy for our fans.
All right, so there's that. Let's go on now. Mendoza's parents, nice people. They're from Miami. They were there. Here's what they had to say after the game. Clip 8.
I remember this moment after the Big Ten championship. I was so fortunate to talk to Elsa here and Fernando here, Fernando Mendoza's parents here on Wish, and they won the Big Ten championship. And who would have thought? A month later, we will be talking about a national championship. Unbelievable. Describe to me your emotions seeing your son win a national title in his backyard, hometown. I mean, you can't make this up, can you?
No. And an undefeated season. And like I said, you know, it was all a dream, and he did it. And like he said in his Heisman speech, hard work pays off. And look at this. It's a team effort, and the whole team has been wonderful, supportive. I mean, I say it all the time, but this is a dream come true.
Okay,
you know?
so it's a great story. One caveat on this. How did this happen? Well, interestingly enough, you know who was there front and center? And he's not my favorite guy, but I have to give him credit for this. The billionaire Mark Cuban, right, from Indiana. He started Real Audio that he sold to Yahoo and made a whole bunch of money because he wanted to listen to Indiana University basketball games, right? Now he's a billionaire. The company he started no longer exists. Yahoo kind of, things changed. But what happened here is when Cignetti came in, they were 3-9. The name, image, and likeness has changed everything. And Cuban came in, talked like Cignetti, and basically started investing in NIL. That's how they got Mendoza there from California. And look, it's a new world. If you take NIL, let's just put it this way. In the modern world with NIL, Curt Cignetti has built a team. Curt Cignetti is basically the new Nick Saban, the new Vince Lombardi, if you will, of college football. I like the guy. And he actually smiled. He said, if I were smart, I'd retire right now, but we need the money. I love that. All right, when we come back, Tom Pappert, going to talk about some Tennessee bills that are up. If you don't speak English, you can't get a driver's license in Tennessee. Back with Tom Pappert after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation. Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Do you think workers in Virginia should be forced to pay union dues and fees just to get or keep a job? For 80% of Virginians, the answer is no. That's why Virginia's right-to-work law is so popular. Unfortunately, special interest lobbyists in Richmond are seeking to repeal right-to-work in Virginia. With the General Assembly back, it is vital to tell your legislators and Governor Abigail Spanberger to oppose forced unionism and protect right to work in Virginia. Sign your petition today at virginiarighttowork.com. That's virginiarighttowork.com. The National Right to Work Committee paid for this ad. Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We welcome to our Zoom Newsmaker line right now national award-winning journalist, the winner of the Dow Prize for the best local journalism in the country in 2025, along with yours truly and Christina Botteri, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the one, the only, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
You know, when I read what's going on in the news, I hearken back to my early literary experience, even in high school. And I think about this book by Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. I've talked about it, right? And it was written at the time of the French Revolution. And it talked about the different ways of justice in revolutionary Paris, France, where basically if the people who had jumped to power didn't like you, literally it was off with your head. And in London, where the traditional standards of Anglo rule of law, now Anglo-American rule of law, continued to apply. There was peace, justice, and liberty in London, and there was chaos and mob rule in Paris, France. So I think of that now, and we kind of have a tale of two states, or a tale of two kinds of states, right? You've got red states like Tennessee, and you've got blue states like Minnesota. Minnesota may be the very worst of the blue states right now. I saw in Post Millennial, they had a very interesting article that said, is Minnesota today's bleeding Kansas? And of course, historically, there was a big fight before the Civil War in Kansas, where you had the pro-slavery folks against the anti-slavery folks. And John Brown went down there and killed a lot of people back then, and it was a precursor to the American Civil War. I think it's an interesting way to look at it. Now this is a long setup for your great story about Tennessee being, I think, the bastion of liberty and freedom and the American constitutional republic, and Minnesota being, chaotic, mob-driven destruction of the rule of law. Now, a series of immigration bills were introduced in the Tennessee General Assembly, which you've written about before. They had a lot to do with, I think Stephen Miller was involved in helping write them. But you have a story that I think is fabulous about another bill that's been introduced. And the headline is, latest Tennessee immigration bill requires police to suspend licenses, decommission commercial vehicles driven by non-English speakers. Tell us about this bill.
This is the latest immigration law. This comes after the massive 8-bill tranche of immigration bills that came last week. This comes after the immigration bills that were held over from last year. There's 2 or 3, and this one is perhaps one of my favorites proposed so far. It would require local and state law enforcement in Tennessee, anytime they encounter a commercial driver, that's a truck driver, a semi-truck driver, who is unable to speak or read English, it would require law enforcement to suspend this driver's license after issuing an out-of-order notice informing the company that owns the vehicle that hired the person and put them on the road despite knowing they can't speak English in the first place. It would notify them that their vehicle cannot be moved until they provide an English-speaking driver. It would also create civil and really criminal penalties against these companies. It would authorize the issuance of essentially non-moving violations to the owners of the companies themselves, as well as make them liable for any fines or fees that wind up being assigned to their driver who did not speak English. So I think this is one of the biggest type of bills that can be done in Tennessee. There's some other bills that have already been filed on the topic of driver's licenses, professional driver's licenses, CDLs. But I think getting these people off the roads is a wonderful way to improve public safety while looking out for the American worker.
The bill was introduced by State Senator Janice Bowling from Tullahoma. And let's go to the details of this. So it's not that the Tennessee Highway Patrol or local county sheriff deputies or police officers in cities would be targeting people, I think. I think if they're pulling over a commercial vehicle for a traffic violation, or I think there's all the commercial vehicles have to stop at weigh stations, right, at various times. As they go through a state. At either location, if they discover, is that how it works?
Well, that's exactly right. Yes, there's no, looking into a semi-truck and saying, oh, that person looks like they could be Indian, let's pull them over. But truck drivers, and I guess a lot of folks don't know this, I was reading some commentary about it this morning about these non-English speaking truck drivers. They have to stop all the time. Every few hours they have to stop at a truck stop merely to comply with the federal requirements for brakes. But then they also have weighing stations every few hundred miles along the interstates that they have to stop and make sure that they're not carrying something that they're not supposed to, that's not on the manifest. And then additionally, semi-truck drivers, probably more often than those of us who just drive on 4 wheels, are going to be stopped by law enforcement for brake lights being out, for a tire being low, for maybe swerving in between lanes because the person doesn't speak English and doesn't value participating in the American driving system. These are people who have a lot of encounters with law enforcement and a lot of opportunities to be busted not speaking or reading English.
If you've ever been overseas, particularly in a third world type country or a second world type country, some countries in Asia, most countries in Latin America, Mexico, Central America, South America. What strikes you when you're driving is how nobody really follows any rules. I mean,
they call it freestyle. I went to even Italy. There's even some European countries that are like this. And I remember you would be going through the idyllic Italian countryside and you're coming around the side of a mountain and the bus driver, we were in a tour bus, is honking and the semi-truck coming at us is honking. And that's the only way to communicate. That was the law of the road. Whoever honks loudest goes first.
Yeah, I've been traveled in Mexico, in Panama, in Colombia, in Venezuela. And I got to tell you, when I was there, I was thinking, oh my gosh, you got to be on the lookout at all time. And the other part about this, Tom, is because we have an interstate highway system and because we have, you enter a state, you don't have to, it's not like there's a customs border you have to go through. You can just drive into it. you end up with states like California, which has licensed how many illegal aliens to drive commercial vehicles? I don't know.
I believe it's over 10,000.
Think about that. And they're not. There's no English language test. And in the past several years, there have been innumerable instances of these foreign drivers who can't speak English or read English, causing traffic accidents that kills a lot of people. I can't even believe that California and other states allow this to happen, but it does.
Well, and part of the theory is, of course, that we need these drivers because the goods of the that America needs to survive will not flow without them, which is just a complete and utter lie. Believe it or not, being a truck driver in 2026 is still one of the last careers out there. Maybe it's not glamorous anymore because now people think of these illegal immigrant and non-English speaking truck drivers instead of 1970s movies that glamorize trucking, but it's still one of the few jobs out there where a man can be a truck driver and provide for a family of like 5 people and a wife that stays home. It's still one of these careers that requires grit, dedication, and intelligence. And I think that this whole we'll just import a new class to do it was never going to work. But not only that, it's dangerous. In fact, the Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy recently raised the case of Delilah Coleman, who folks may remember from last year. She was in one of these accidents that authorities say was caused by an illegal immigrant driver. And Duffy, in the latest update, said that this crash by an illegal immigrant resulted in her inability to walk, talk, eat orally, or attend kindergarten. She was in a coma for 3 weeks and required 6 months of hospital treatment before she could be brought home. She had a craniectomy in the hospital and is looking at years of recovery because somebody who should not have been on the road was driving.
Yeah. Now, so the way this will work is, let's say, I don't know, a trucker, 18, and by the way, this is a tough job. Driving an 18-wheeler, it's a tough job and a dangerous one. But let's say there's somebody driving a trucker, and if an illegal alien who can't speak English is driving one of these big 18-wheelers in Tennessee, and maybe their lights are out or they're speeding. They're pulled over by a highway patrol officer. Under this law, the highway patrol officer, if they determine they can't speak English or read English, they can basically issue an out-of-service order, which means, I think, that truck driver cannot drive the vehicle. Is that right?
Well, it goes further than that. It actually means that the vehicle cannot be driven until the company that owns it provides an English-speaking driver. So that means the next guy who shows up is also going to have to speak English. He's also going to have to talk to a Tennessee Highway Patrol or local police officer and verify that. There's not going to be a loophole in the system. But additionally, once this order is been issued, it will immediately result in the illegal immigrant or non-English speaker losing his driver's license.
Well, look, I think this is a great bill. What are the odds of its passage, Tom Pappert?
Well, it is curious that it was not included in the big immigration package from last week, but I think that the person who submitted the bill, Janice Bowling, she has a good track record. She is not somebody who puts up bills that go nowhere and wind up dying on the floor.
Okay, well, we'll see how that works out. Hey, stick around because we've got another big area. We have kind of 2 big areas that the Tennessee General Assembly is addressing. Number 1 is immigration. Number 2 is public education. Back with Tom Pappert after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com. The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
Lifestyles Unlimited is a real estate education group that gives you the roadmap and resources to start building income through real estate. You'll learn practical strategies for using investment properties to create extra income and make informed decisions, one step at a time. Join today for just $297. That's a 60% savings off the regular price of our real estate education program. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined by Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now. Okay, so the 2 main focuses of the Tennessee General Assembly, which is currently in session, are immigration and education. You've got a story, there's a story up about record interest right now in the Education Scholarship Program. Tell us about that.
Well, it's by my colleague Caitlin Hausler, and it really shows that Tennessee school choice, like its immigration policy, should be a model for the rest of the country. Longtime listeners and residents of Tennessee, of course, will know that the Tennessee Education Freedom Plan passed last year. It created a total of 20,000 scholarships, 10,000 to be essentially total school choice, first come, first serve, and 10,000 with income restrictions to go toward those who earn less. This year, it increased by only 5,000 because that's what the law statutorily had, but it had 50,000 people apply. That's up from 20,000 last year. I'm sorry, 40,000 last year who applied for 20,000. Now we've had 50,000 apply for 25,000 seats. Of these, we had about 1,500 who applied last year did not reapply. That means it had one heck of a rate of people staying within the system. And then now all of these new applications, another essentially 30,000 plus applications have come in from new families seeking to participate, essentially all vying for the same 5,000 seats. So Republicans have been talking about expanding this program. Governor Bill Lee yesterday indicated that it is on his agenda, at least for the legislative session this year.
Now, the naysayers. Who are the naysayers on the? Is there any Democrat? Now, remember, in Tennessee, Republicans have a supermajority, that is more than 2/3, in both the House and the Senate. Are there any Democrats who favor this?
Well, the Democrats are, as usual, unified in opposition to what would be best for children, and they have one or two Republicans that still do not understand how the school choice benefits the children in the state of Tennessee and would benefit children in any state of the union, who are putting up their own legislation, calling for new oversights, claiming that this is going to hurt their constituents in rural counties. But for the most part, Michael, I think the only concern that could block an expansion from happening this year is a financial one, because Tennessee is a conservative state with the Republicans who realize you have to balance a checkbook. And so I think that Republican leadership, rather than the naysayers, have been clear that so long as there's room in the budget, they want to expand it, but they're not going to drive the state into debt over virtually anything.
Yeah, and the naysayers are kind of the typical fringe crowd. You've got Monty Fritz, who's a friend of the program, by the way, who's running for governor up in East Tennessee. And so he's opposed to it. And I guess you've got, Jody Barrett from Dixon County, the guy who got stomped by Matt Van Epps in the special election primary in the 7th Congressional District. It was like 52% to 25%. He's opposed to it. Any other notable opposition on the Republican side?
Those are the two high-profile candidates, and Jody Barrett recently announced that he will not run for Congress this year. He will run for re-election to the State House. So I wish the best of luck to Jody Barrett. I wish he would see reason on school choice, though. I don't exactly understand. There's a school in Hickson County that benefits from the Tennessee Education Freedom Plan. So his constituents like this, apparently.
Well, we'll see. I think it's more. I think it's more a personal thing with Jody, but we'll see. And the argument is, well, we can't afford this. Well, that's ridiculous, because what we can't afford is kids who can't read, write, do mathematics, and think. And that's exactly the problem we have right now with our K-12 public schools here in Tennessee. It's, you hear this from everybody, that the kids coming out of high school have very limited ability to read, write, do math, etc. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, I think that's why we've seen in the polls such an immense interest in this, both bipartisan, but from the smartest people in the state first, and that's Republicans. There was some polling just last week that I think showed upwards of 65% of Republicans support expanding both the Tennessee Education Freedom Plan and charter schools, because fundamentally anybody with a little bit of reason and a little bit of empathy does not want children to suffer in these schools. It's bad for the economy because kids come out of 12 years of schooling, stupider than they were as a kindergartner when they went in, it seems. And then two, because these poor kids, they're not learning. You have reports all across the country, thankfully not so bad in Tennessee, but elsewhere, that kids graduate from high school being functionally illiterate, meaning they look at a paper and they can read Michael Patrick Leahy invites you to a Zoom interview, but they don't know what the words mean. They can't put the sentence together without a teacher helping them along.
Tom, I have to give you credit for a classic line. Public education has become so bad that kids graduating from high school come out stupider than they were when they entered kindergarten. That is a great line. Tom Pafford, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
Up next, E.J. Haas. More on Minnesota craziness. Back after this.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Louisiana Republican Congressman Mike Johnson has made history, becoming the first U.S. Speaker to address the British Parliament.
We have returned at a pivotal moment, obviously, in the great histories of our countries, to mark this anniversary that we have in our nation and to celebrate what we've achieved together in the past, and importantly, to face and overcome together the challenges of our present day. And I want to tell you, my friends, we will do that together.
Johnson's speech comes as the U.S. prepares to celebrate its 250th anniversary. President Trump is stirring the pot with Europe over his demand for Greenland.
European leaders are reacting to Donald Trump's latest threats with concern and dismay. The EU's top official has described planned new tariffs over Greenland as a mistake among allies. And Ursula von der Leyen called into question Trump's trustworthiness. The president said he would slap a 10% import tax on goods from 8 European allies who oppose an American takeover of the Danish territory. Von der Leyen warned of a downward spiral in relations with the U.S. Greg Clugston, the White House.
At least 100 vehicles, cars, and trucks involved in a pileup on a snowy Michigan interstate. Icy Arctic air is barreling south with more snow and certainly the lake variety expected to continue this week across the Great Lakes region and beyond. Forecasters say some parts of the east could see significant snowfall. The Indiana Hoosiers have won their first national college football title, beating Miami 27-21 and capping an undefeated season. Following the long holiday weekend, back to business today for Wall Street. The benchmarks are down sharply given uncertainty over the Greenland situation. The Dow is off 508 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-893-2288. That's 800-893-2288.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Spain has begun 3 days of mourning for victims of a deadly train accident in the country's south, as emergency crews continue the search for bodies at the scene of the crash.
Experts are investigating the accident, whose cause is still unclear. The stretch of track where it happened was straight and had been renovated in May of last year. The train that derailed underwent a technical check last week. A fault in the track has been identified, but the Transport Minister, Oscar Puente, said it was not known whether that was a cause of the accident or a consequence of it. Rescue workers are continuing to sift through the wreckage, and the authorities have said they expect the number of those killed to increase.
The BBC's Guy Hedgecoe. The Australian Parliament has passed new gun restrictions as well as anti-hate speech laws. Comes after 2 shooters killed 15 people at a Jewish festival in Sydney last month. Authorities say ISIS was involved in the attack. Townhall.com. Well, China still has a lot of people, but China's population does continue to shrink.
Government statistics released on Monday revealed the population fell for the 4th straight year to 1.4 billion. Births dropped in 2025 by 17% to 7.92 million. Despite lifting the one-child policy to allow 3 children, the fertility rate remains low. Most families cite the cost and pressure of raising a child in a highly competitive society. Keith Peters, Washington.
Ukrainian President Zelensky says Russia has launched more than 300 drones and missiles, another nighttime attack on the Ukrainian power grid. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko says nearly 80% of the apartment buildings that were hit had just regained heat after the previous attack in Ukraine, facing one of its coldest winters on record. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, our favorite refugee from the formerly great state of Minnesota, E.J. Haas.
Hello. That's a good way to describe it.
Oh, my goodness.
Minnesota has fallen.
It has fallen.
It's fallen.
I say we trade Minnesota for Alberta.
Okay, that's a trend. It's you're not alone, and I don't know if I'm entirely opposed.
Yeah, really. Okay, so, well, actually, it's the city-state of Minneapolis-St. Paul that's the problem.
I disagree.
Oh, well, of course you live there.
Right, it's the whole state.
Wow.
It's the whole state, but they're not all the radical thugs that we saw storming a church service, but they lack the will or the desire to combat that. And
well, let's go. Let's talk about what that is first. On Sunday, at a church service, a city's church,
yes,
in St. Paul.
Deep in the heart of St. Paul. We're not talking about a suburb here. Yeah. This is city goers.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's affiliated with the Southern Baptist Church. And these guys planted this church. The building looked. They must have taken an older building. Yeah. I think older church, or didn't take it over, but they probably bought it, and it's got they have a lead pastor and like 7 other pastors,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at the service. It's a big building. From it looked like there were maybe only 100 congregants there.
Well, the video starts, though, after a good amount of people had left their seats already.
Good point. Okay, let's play the video of the left-wing protesters violating the First Amendment rights of the congregants there to exercise their right to freedom of religion. Let's play this clip right now. Okay, so there are about 60, 70 protesters there who've invaded the church.
If that many, I don't know. It was maybe 30 or 40 by my count, but yeah.
So you have a particular point of view about this.
I do. 2 things. I'm going to start with my opinion on the parishioners, because I took some heat for that on
it's all right.
On X.
You can take heat.
But I stand by it.
Well, let's hear it.
I think that could only happen in Minnesota, and specifically in St. Paul or Minneapolis, Minnesota. Do that anywhere else in the country, and you're going to have a very different outcome.
Well, let's talk about what the different outcome would be. Think about it now. And I guess the tactics were this, I forget it, Nikema somebody, Levy something, who's a...
Nikema Levy, yeah.
Yeah, was a former law professor.
Yeah.
NAACP head, who's very radical.
Very, and she's been active in Minnesota before. She's very well known there as being kind of a disruptor, thug, being a bully and a thug. That is what she is.
So she's standing outside with Don Lemon, and she's saying, "We are going to go and disrupt these key centers of ICE." And she claims, because one of the part-time pastors there, she claims is affiliated with ICE. She claims that they've got the right to confront everybody there.
That's right. And so they storm this church service. Yes, I think that there could have been something done by the parishioners, chief among them getting the children out. So there's this video or still image going around from one of the videos of this dad kind of hugging his son. And I get it. You're stunned. Nobody expects that to happen. And I can't say what my reaction would be. It's never happened to me before. But I do think that my first instinct as a parent and a mother would have been to get my kids the heck out of there if we had to crawl. Like, I'm not keeping my kids in there.
Well, it's a dangerous situation.
And so that was, I mean, you have to assume, especially in the Twin Cities, have we already forgotten about the shooting that happened that took the lives of 2 children just a few months ago? How have we forgotten that already?
Yeah, from a crazed lunatic.
Right. So you've got this unhealthy thuggery going on in this climate of violence and hate and anger going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I would prefer that people would protect their wherever they are. And right. So if it's a place of worship, you know that you're under high scrutiny right now, and you've got people who are bad actors in your community, in your neighborhoods. Do something to protect yourself.
So,
easier said than done in hindsight, obviously.
But okay, so first, this could only happen in a place like St. Paul or Minneapolis, where the police will not protect you.
That's right.
If you're a conservative, they will not protect you.
Yeah, they have no interest in helping anyone who is just law-abiding, normal citizens.
No.
They are all in on protecting the rights of the so-called protesters. And I would like to say that they're not actually protesters.
They're paid
They are bullies,
leftists,
thugs. Well, not all of them paid, but yes, many of them paid. Do you know who else was at this?
Who else was at that?
This is something. St. Paul School Board member among anti-ICE activists. This is from Alpha News. Harmeet Dillon has now said that she's going to vow to pursue federal charges in this case. But yes, there was a woman who was part of the St. Paul School Board.
Yeah.
In addition, according to Daily Wire, I believe, is someone else. This is Luke Rosiak.
Oh, yeah, I know Luke.
Yep.
A fellow Dow Prize winner for the Daily Wire.
Yeah. He says, and I quote, one of the protesters who took over a church service and screamed, "Shut it down," works for Minneapolis's local prosecutor, is married to a St. Paul councilwoman, is running for state senate, and runs Homes for Homies, taking Section 8 money and steering it to black criminals.
So this is basically the organized fraud crime family.
Jamel Lundy.
Yeah.
So obviously well-connected and somehow just happened upon Don Lemon. And no, this was very coordinated.
Totally coordinated.
And people need to go to jail. So I'm tired, quite honestly, of Harmeet Dillon, Pam Bondi, everybody else in the administration saying, justice is coming. That's what they keep telling us. Justice is coming. We're going to take this to the full extent of the law. And yet we have not seen any heads roll yet. I want to see indictments. I want to see arrests.
But here's the thing.
It has to happen.
I've got more patience with them on this because these particular kind of prosecutions take a while to build up the case, even if it's as blatant as it is here. Now, what's interesting to me is if you go to church in Tennessee, pretty much you can be guaranteed that, a good chunk of the congregants are carrying.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, there's almost always, the church hires a security team.
Yep.
I think you have a good point in the sense that, okay, in terms of the leadership of the church, did they think, they're in St. Paul.
Right.
They're conservative Christians.
Yeah.
Did they think that there wasn't a need for full security?
So I'm going to stop you there and tell you that they're probably not conservative Christians. This is the second part of my unpopular opinion. I'll bet you a good majority of the people in that congregation actually would agree with the tenets and the concepts of the anti-ICE folks. And that's part of the reason these thugs were able to accomplish this, get in, disrupt, why the people would just sit there. And what's hilarious is there's a lot of talk online, well, they've probably, lost the support of those people. Probably not. And I'm telling you that as somebody who lived in Minnesota for over a decade. Those people will probably still agree. I don't agree with the tactics, but I understand their concerns.
We had
one
kid that said that in a video who was there. But, we'll see. We'll see. You're the one who lived in Minnesota. We'll have more on this crazy nutcase situation in Minnesota after this. We'll hear from Harmeet Dillon herself. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
It's simple. No worker should ever be forced to pay money to a union boss just to get or keep a job. That's why hardworking Virginians overwhelmingly support right to work and agree that forced unionism is wrong. Unfortunately, right to work is under threat from radical state legislators who seek to overturn right to work and grant union bosses the power to have workers fired for refusing to pay union dues. Studies show that if they succeed in repealing Virginia's right to work law, it would cost the Commonwealth over 200,000 jobs. That's why it's vital to tell your legislators and Governor Abigail Spanberger to defend right to work in Virginia. With the General Assembly now in session, it's vital you make your voice heard today. Go to VirginiaRightToWork.com and demand your legislators and Governor Spanberger oppose forced unionism and protect right to work. Defend freedom and Virginia jobs today. Sign your petition at VirginiaRightToWork.com, paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. Then borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back in studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, EJ Host. EJ, we're talking about Harmeet Dillon. Mm-hmm. Here's her latest. I think this is from this morning. She is the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, and she said she's got a team of prosecutors looking at the likelihood that there was a violation of the FACE Act, which basically prohibits interruptions of either clinics or religious services by anybody. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go. Harmeet Dillon.
Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the U.S. DOJ. Harmeet, great to have you back on. This actually, the FACE Act, this could potentially be, I think it is, a blatant violation of these people storming a church, a violation of the FACE Act.
You're absolutely correct. The Attorney General reached out to me about this yesterday when I was on an airplane, and before I landed, we'd already scrambled the jets and gotten prosecutors assigned to this, as well as reached out to the FBI and had agents assigned, and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis assigned to this. Mm-hmm. So there are already several law enforcement officials working on this as of yesterday evening. What people need to understand about the timing of arrests is we're a little bit different than the state prosecutors, who are, I think, frankly, refusing to do their jobs at this point. I have to get federal judges to sign off on arrest warrants before I can arrest somebody. So today's a federal holiday, and if it weren't, we have, certain slow rolling of things we're doing there, but we will get there. I have seen enough video and evidence at this point to believe that what we saw and what we're seeing on the screen there is multiple violations of, at a minimum, the FACE Act, as well as other federal statutes. And so we want to bring as strong a case as we can against as many of the offenders as we can. And we are doing that with all due speed. And the Attorney General is personally checking in with me every couple of hours, and she is extremely motivated to make sure that we do justice in this case.
This would be
okay.
Excellent.
So this is interesting. Back to your point. Oh, they're not moving quick enough. Remember now, this is a good point from Harmeet. This happens on Sunday.
Yeah.
She needs a warrant signed by a federal judge. It was a holiday on Monday.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're a federal
If this were the only case though, where like no one's been arrested yet, right? Because like the
I know.
state should be doing it, quite hononestly. Like
no. This is here, let me get to something key.
No, I get it. It's a federal law.
No.
but
Let me talk about the state stuff for a minute, just for a minute, if I can. Here's a big problem in America. You are not going to get justice in a blue state if you're conservative.
Yeah.
You're not. Think about this. Back even to the church situation. Who would have been charged? Let's say somebody brandished a firearm, a parishioner brandished a firearm, or shot one of the protesters. Who would be arrested?
Yeah, of course. It would be the parishioner.
The parishioner would be arrested.
Of course.
This is so undermining to the rule of law. But that's the problem we have. And you even go back to the prosecution and conviction of Derek Chauvin for the, quote, murder of George Floyd.
Yeah.
Now, there's plenty of evidence that he was not murdered, that he, in fact, he'd actually had huge health problems and overdosed and actually had his heart had stopped like 4 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
When he was had a drug OD.
Yep. There's a lot of
Derek
evidence
Chauvin got no justice.
That's right.
But here's the problem. This is when I look at it. I don't want to be involved in any kind of altercation
Well, look at
in a blue state.
Daniel Penny.
Yeah.
Right? It saved people on a train from a literal crazy person.
But
he is the one who got,
who was charged. He was found not
thank
guilty.
Thank goodness. But who wants to go through that? Nobody. So I understand it. I just think that they were able to get away with this so far. And I hope that Harmeet Dillon is able to get some arrests here this week, because that'll go a long way to stopping these thugs and bullies.
Yes, but you ready? The FACE Act, you've heard a lot of it. It's called the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. It's a 1994 federal law making it a crime to use force, threats, or physical obstruction to interfere with anyone obtaining or providing reproductive health services or exercising religious freedom at a place of worship. Okay? Now, there were about 11 grandmothers who were praying in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, outside an abortion clinic. They were all charged under the FACE Act.
Yep.
And they were convicted
by
a Tennessee jury. And they're either serving time or I don't know if they got pardoned by the president.
They weren't convicted for praying. They were convicted because it was proven in a court of law, whether you believe it or not, that they were obstructing. And that's the key to the whole law right there is, are you obstructing the ability of the parishioners to worship that day? Yes, they were.
Physical obstruction to interfere with anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So clearly that was happening. Here is the rub. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Federal judges.
Yeah.
In Minnesota.
It's going to be tough to find one.
Well, I mean, you just had a federal judge in Minnesota appointed by, wait for it, Joe Biden.
Yep.
Who has prohibited ICE from using tear gas when they're, trying to corral a crazy crowd. So that's really, I think that's what she's working on right now.
Yeah, that's probably the most difficult
part. What federal judge in Minnesota is going to do this?
It's going to be tough to find. And we've got people all over in all of the agencies, law enforcement, everywhere, all over Minnesota. They're submitting the resignations. Even the police department has had over 100 officers have submitted for that, paid family leave 20-week off thing or whatever the heck that is. So people are kind of dropping like flies if they don't want to be involved in all this chaos. And that's good. So that's going to be tough.
They're in a no-win situation. If you look at it, you got the mayor of Minneapolis is a leftist who is
married to a woman who's quite corrupt and involved in a lot of things. Allegedly. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely got a problem in that state that the highest up, the ones who are supposed to protect you,
they're not.
A.G. Ellison.
They will not.
He will not.
Yeah.
He went on some sort of a podcast, I think, with Don Lemon and said, well, tough luck, everybody. You're just going to have to deal with people storming your churches. Like, what? You're the AG. That's not what the law says at all. You are responsible for protecting these people from thugs and bullies. And he just basically flat out said, I'm not doing it.
The U.S. District Court for Minnesota has 3 Republican-appointed judges out of, I think, 5 or 6. So, it's kind of a. I think they got to put it in front of a Republican-appointed judge.
They would have to, yeah.
Because the Biden-appointed judge will not sign an arrest warrant for violation of the FACE Act.
Yeah. The only good news that we have in all of this, if there's a silver lining at all, it's that we do have the video, so you can't really deny it. We've got them post-video, post-event, talking about how great it was to do it. And you've got an administration with Governor Walz, A.G. Ellison, the rest of them, and Mayor Frey, for that matter, who are scrambling and are really struggling to gain control. Even Governor Walz came out and said, we don't want you to be violent and be peaceful and blah, blah, blah. Well, too little, too late, sir. That's not really going to help anything anymore.
Yeah, interesting. There are 7 authorized federal district judges in Minnesota. 3 of them are Republican. So she's got to get in front of those Republicans.
Yeah.
Because the Biden-appointed judge.
Well, what she's got to do is probably find one of those Republican judges who has aspirations for higher office and can see that there's an opportunity to do more things in Minnesota.
Although
on the Republican
side.
Yeah,
it is interesting. And it's also, you got to go back to this. I mean, the voters of Minnesota elected Tim Walz governor.
Mm-hmm.
They elected Keith Ellison attorney general.
Well, I mean, if you believe that it was a fair election, right? I mean, there's a lot to be said for voter fraud in Minnesota.
Somali.
But beyond Somali, it's college students who live in Wisconsin but go to school at the U, and there was an arrest made there a few years ago. I think that might have been the 2016 election. So it's pretty rampant. I mean, it's documented. There have been arrests. There have been prosecutions. There have been news stories about it. There is decent amount of fraud in Minnesota. You'll hear.
That's a good juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Decent amount of fraud.
Yeah.
A huge amount of fraud.
Yeah, most likely, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But I do think you've still got that problem culturally in Minnesota in particular. It's not the entire Midwest. It doesn't seem to affect, Iowa or South Dakota or North Dakota, in the same way. But they do what feels good. They don't want their neighbors to dislike them. They still want to be invited to the,
Minnesota Nice is a Minnesota Week these days.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll have more when we get back. They're going after Target now in Minnesota. I'm back with E.J. Host after this.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
For years, the Europeans have underestimated President Trump time after time. But at every turn, he's been right. On energy, on NATO, on foreign free riding. It's time they pay up. That's why he's cracking down on foreign countries that don't pay their fair share for American medicines. Renegotiating trade deals for the prescription drugs we invent. President Trump is ending the foreign freeloading, making Europe pay their fair share.
Paid for by Americans for Limited Government. In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Hi, everyone. EJ Host here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere. Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, EJ Host. EJ.
Yes, sir.
More Minnesota stuff. The more we talk about Minnesota, the more you tell me about it, the more I'm inclined to do that trade with Canada.
Right.
Bring in Alberta. They can have Minnesota. We still only have 50
I think it's
states.
fair. I think that's a fair trade.
Well, Alberta's got all these natural resources.
And hockey players.
Hockey players.
Who doesn't love that?
And they make all the American Western films in Alberta these days, in Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Look, there's a movement now, I think, for Alberta to become independent.
Yes.
Which I think would be fine if they want to be independent.
If they want to be. I mean, it's a little tough given their geographic location because they'll be surrounded on either side with Canada. So that's a little weird. But supposedly their petition is very close to having enough signatures, which is bananas.
Albertans have an American sensibility about them, I think. It's a can-do state.
True. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a pick yourself up by your bootstraps kind of place.
It's not a whiny leftist, oh, life is so terrible.
Right.
I'm angry.
It's not Toronto.
Let me just add this. You, of course, are the originator of the term awful.
I would like to think so.
You
I have
are.
been saying it for years and years and years,
Okay,
but now
so
it's very popular.
What do we mean by awful? Now, the way that the New York Times did a story about how terrible
I was
it
not
is.
consulted.
Yes, how terrible it is that among right-wing internet folks, the phrase to describe these whiny leftist nutcase women that are trying to confront ICE up in Minnesota is awful.
Mm-hmm.
And they call it affluent white female urban liberals. I think we've used the term angry.
We could use the term angry in there too. Mhm.
Or maybe they are not awful, they are awful.
They are
awful.
awful. I tend to agree. Yes.
Awful. They're angry, affluent, white, female, urban liberals.
Yes.
But it seems to be that's an accurate description.
Yeah. Yeah, and has been for years. I mean, really, they just keep getting worse and worse and growing and growing. There's all kinds of theories as to why. I do think that some of the anti-anxiety drugs and everybody needs therapy stuff is part of it, for sure. Obviously, the indoctrination of college students is another part of it. So I don't think it's any one thing, but like literally every television show on mainstream television channels, the most watched programs and things like that, it's all woke. It's all everybody needs therapy. It's terrible.
There's one other element to it, and that is there's so much affluence in the United States right now. A lot of people don't actually have to do any work.
I mean, as evidenced by the thugs and bullies that have been all over Minneapolis. Yeah.
Speaking of which, they've gone after an icon, a retail icon that's headquartered up in Minnesota, Target. In fact, it wasn't enough for them to disrupt a church. Here's a clip of a bunch of these crazy leftists going into a Target in Minnesota. Here we go. Let's play that clip.
We are one. We won't stop fighting. We won't stop fighting. The ice is gone. Till ice is gone.
More singing.
Why do they insist on singing?
Singing and banging their little drums.
I
They're
mean,
so silly. You want to know what my first thought was when I saw this?
Yeah.
They got cold. They got tired of quote unquote protesting and disrupting ICE outside. So now they're going to do it inside. These are their silly tactics, right? So they just sit in the main kind of lobby area at the entrance of Target, disrupting customers and everything else. And then a whole bunch of them, it was like 70 of them, went and got bags of salt, like the ice melt, because salt melts ice. Like, it's so clever. And they
really
bought
clever.
it. And then they all waited in line to return it so that they could disrupt, the commerce of Target. Target, remember, is on your side, you fools. They're the ones who do all the LGBTQ rainbow stuff. They're the ones who, donate to leftist causes. They have, in the past, sponsored your pride parades. So, like, what are you actually doing? I think they got cold, and this is what they decided to do. I think they decided that it was time to just find some place to sit where it was nice and warm, like a bunch of homeless people in the the subway.
They're just a bunch of jerks. I
Really?
mean, really, yeah.
Bullies. Just
Yeah.
what a jerk thing to do. Like, just disrupt other people who are trying to get their shopping done.
And other people who just trying to make a living.
Right.
It's a mean-spirited thing to do. They're saying, oh, you can't Target. You're letting ICE use your parking lot.
And
you're
your
letting
bathrooms.
ICE use your bathrooms.
I mean,
It's
so
crazy.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But it gets your clicks on TikTok, doesn't it? I think it has a lot to do with the social media clicks and engagement.
Let's go to clip 4 here. Our friend Tricia McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Who is, she's doing fantastic work as the communications director at Homeland. We knew Tricia, of course, when she was the comms director for Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign. But she is first rate. Listen to what she says, that these people are these awful awful people are doing.
DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. Tricia, thanks for being with us. We watched that interchange. We were talking earlier in the show about the church in St. Paul where protesters busted in because one of the pastors at that church is a federal law enforcement agent as well. There are more and more threats against these officers. I'm guessing you've had to expend significantly more resources trying to keep them safe as they do their jobs. What are you doing to try to keep them safe?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have more men and women on the ground. You saw last week the president sent in more federal law enforcement. And he's doing just that, trying to protect our men and women on the ground. But Secretary Noem is completely right. We've seen an 8,000% increase in death threats against our law enforcement officers. But it's not just our agents and officers being targeted. It's also their families, where their children go to school, where their spouses work. This is all being put on the deep web. We're having our ICE lawyers being stalked and followed on their way home. In Minneapolis, there's a number of these hotels closing because they've faced bomb threats against them because this is where they believe that these ICE officers are staying during their time there. It's really spiraled out of control. And by the way, where are Jacob Fry? Where is Tim Walz saying, stop there? Where is the condemnation when there's violence against federal law enforcement officers? We've only heard that from the President of the United States. We've only heard that from Secretary Noem and those on the right. I think it's about time the left looks in the mirror, say enough is enough, and they got to put really public safety and law enforcement safety ahead of their own political gain.
So let's kind of go on that. Isn't it all about the children?
You would think, but no. They were bringing their children out to the protests. I say that with air quotes every time because it's not. It's little mini riots it's thuggery. You don't have a constitutional right to just show up and harass people, to make so much noise they can't sleep. There's noise ordinances. You don't. There's no First Amendment right to disrupting a church service. These people are all, we have the right to protest. No, actually, the word protest is not in the Constitution. It's peacefully
assemble.
Correct. And so I don't think what they're doing is following the letter of the law. So again, we have these people who claim to be one thing, looking out for our neighbors and like they're all so kind. But then they're just hypocrites because they're chasing down ICE agents and stalking their families, going to their children's school. Give me a break. Did you hear what the ICE agents are doing when they know they're being followed?
Tell me.
This is the best. So ICE agents in Minnesota now, when they know they're being followed by someone who's trying to disrupt and stop them from being able to do their jobs, they'll run the plates and figure out where those people live, and while they're being followed by that very person, drive them to their own house. And now they're like, they're unlawfully looking up our names and numbers and blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. You've been doxing these agents. It's not a big deal for them to take you back to your house, But funny, you have to almost troll these people just to make a point.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, we're at a troublesome inflection point in the country.
Yeah.
Because you've got red states like Tennessee, which are sane and which are committed to our constitutional republic.
Yeah.
In blue states, however, the leadership in blue states and blue cities is rejecting American constitutional republic values. They're trying to replace them with some kind of weird socialist, communist, authoritarian world.
Sure. Look at Mamdani in New York City. But the contrast is pretty remarkable when you think about it, because these same types of operations, removing criminal aliens from the city, is happening in Memphis, Tennessee, right now, and has been for weeks and weeks.
Tennessee,
riots.
During the past year, 40,000 illegal aliens have been removed from Tennessee, 10,000 in Minnesota. And they're saying, you're targeting Minnesota. We're about the same size, population-wise.
Yeah.
But we have cooperation to do.
That's right.
When we get back, I'm going to talk more about this historical parallels with the Civil War.
Oh.
Oh, back after this.
Ponder this. Do you ever pray to God for something you really want or need? Do you ever feel like your prayers were never heard or answered? Maybe you are praying for your favorite team to win a championship game, only to come up short and settle for runner-up. Perhaps you prayed for a promotion that you were passed over, and there's always the lottery ticket purchase. You know, praying for a winning $1 million ticket? In these circumstances, you might feel like your prayers were not heard or answered. Don't be discouraged. Your prayers were heard and answered, just that the answer was no. You see, the Lord answers prayers in the same way a good father answers requests from his children. Even Jesus was turned down in the prayer to his Father, requesting to let the pain and suffering from the cross pass from him. However, the Lord added to this request, "Not my will, but thy will be done." With every prayer and petition, consider ending it in this manner: "Not my will, but thy will be done." The Lord hears and answers all prayers. It's just that sometimes he says no. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from The Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results: azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
The Cats and Cosby Show. It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the one, the only, E.J. Haast. E.J., Libby Emmons, writing at the Post Millennial, which is now part of the Just Security Network, has this article. I'm going to read it. It's a little long, but I'm going to read this and then get your reaction to it. She says, which brings me to Bleeding Kansas, a series of clashes between anti-slavery and pro-slavery agitators. The whole thing was sparked by the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, which said that popular sovereignty would be how the issue of slavery's legality would be decided in that state. Settlers flocked there on both sides of the divide in order to influence which side became the majority. There was election fraud.
Mm-hmm.
There were attacks and raids. Some 55 to 60 people were killed by 1859. The Civil War began just 2 years later. And, of course, John Brown was later hung for trying to take over Harper's Ferry in West Virginia. He went into Bleeding Kansas and executed people he thought were pro-slavery. Minnesota, Libby Emmons continues, is just one of dozens of sanctuary states in the United States where elected leaders have determined they are not beholden to federal immigration law. In so doing, they encourage residents to stand up to officers of the law and put their own local police forces in direct conflict with federal law enforcement. They also put federal officers in direct conflict with agitators and residents, as those officers have to seek their suspects in the community rather than having them handed over by local cops. The sanctuary states do not appear to even be close to backing down. The leaders seem to relish the conflict and the fight with the federal government. President Trump and his administration will not back down. Trump has only increased the number of agents in Minneapolis. The standoff is not coming. It is already here and playing out in real time. What we do in Minneapolis will determine the fate of our nation, just as what happened in Kansas in the 1850s dictated our country's course of action.
I can't help but think how short-sighted the people are who want this chaos, who are saying that it's somehow justified or righteous to oppose and violently oppose federal law enforcement officers. They're thinking about, I mean, just listen to their words, Amy Klobuchar and Keith Ellison and all of them. They're thinking about like the next election. If you get what you want, which is total chaos nationwide, states against the federal government, there's no more elections. You don't have power either. Like, there's no winning in that. I mean, these people that think that, civil war is imminent and it's a good thing, they have absolutely no idea what that actually means. They've not seen real battle. You think that school board member who stormed the church, or the other guy who runs homes for homies and running for the legislature in Minnesota, you think they have any idea of what real civil war looks like? No, they don't. And I don't claim to know it myself, but I bet you I've done a lot more research on it than they have. And so I can't help but think how ridiculously short-sighted it is to assume that that is a worthy outcome and that that's what we should push for.
I don't think they're short-sighted at all. I think they have a longer-term view. I think they all want to destroy our constitutional republic. You listen to Keith Ellison. He's not going to prosecute anybody who breaks the law who's a liberal. But he will prosecute. I promise you, if any of those parishioners up there had brandished a gun,
Mm-hmm.
the full force of the state attorney general's office would come down upon them.
Yeah.
They would have been prosecuted.
Yeah.
Just like that couple in Missouri was
Right,
prosecuted.
do you remember?
And that
Yes.
was Missouri.
And that was their own home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on that we agree. And I don't think we're all that far off on the short-sighted versus long-term goals. Short-sighted, yes, they want to destroy the system. But if you listen to their words, they're talking about elections and who will be in charge and whatever, not realizing, of course, that they're not going to have a say in that. If they get what they want, they won't have a say in that. It'll be whoever is the most violent that gets to choose.
They say, or I've said, I said in 2016, it was the most important election in the history of the country.
True.
I said the same thing in 2020. I said the same thing in 2024. 2026, probably not the most important because it's the midterm.
Sure.
But a very important. But it's going to set the stage for the next most important election, 2028.
Yeah.
It seems to me.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why some of the things that we want to be done are being held back a little bit. As far as domestic policy initiatives and things like that, probably to protect some of the Republican majority in the House that could be up for.
Let's close on this topic. If we want to preserve the republic, Republicans must maintain control of the House.
But they have to do something with it.
And on that note, E.J. Haas, thanks so much for joining us today.
You bet.
We'll see you on Tuesday in the second hour of the program. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. If all goes well, we'll be joined by recovering journalist, all-around good guy, Clint Brewer, after the break.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
At these people.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from Gloucester, Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. Get your winning plays and parlays from Godzilla Wins, Saturdays at 7 a.m. or click GodzillaWins.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The National Weather Service has issued warnings about either extremely cold temperatures or the potential for a winter storm mix across several states, starting in northern Minnesota, stretching south and east into Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. Forecaster Brian Jackson with the National Weather Service.
So we're expecting a broad area of snow, and then south of that should be a lot of sleet. South of that, a lot of freezing rain. And there should be some plain rain, but we'll see exactly where that sets up.
More than 100 vehicles smashed into each other or slid off an interstate in Michigan on Monday. On the anniversary of his second inauguration, President Trump heads today to the World Economic Forum in Davos, an annual gathering of the global elite. Meanwhile, some European allies are still fuming over the president's talk about taking over Greenland, but U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told those participants yesterday to keep it all in perspective.
I would say this is the same kind of hysteria that we heard on April 2nd. There was a panic. And what I'm urging everyone here to do is sit back, take a deep breath, and let things play out. As I said on April 2nd, the worst the countries can do is escalate against the United States.
The president plans to use an address tomorrow to propose plans to make housing more affordable. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is going to court in a show of support for Fed Governor Lisa Cook. We get more details from correspondent Bill Alexander.
The High Court is considering whether President Donald Trump can fire Cook. Trump moved to fire her in August, following allegations she made misrepresentations on mortgage documents. Lower courts let Cook continue serving in her position while she pursued a legal challenge to her firing, and the Supreme Court in October said it would take up the case. Cook has not been charged with any criminal offenses.
It's Bill Alexander reporting. More from townhall.com.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not-so-wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho. And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company, Pure Talk.
And now here's Rich Thomason with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
Stock markets across the globe are sinking following President Trump's threat to hit 8 NATO members with new tariffs as tension escalates over his attempts to assert U.S. control over Greenland. The annual combined imports from EU nations are greater than those of the 2 biggest individual importers into the U.S., Mexico and China. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Switzerland, asserts that America's relations with Europe remain strong. He's urging trading partners to let tension driven by the tariff threats play out. Wedbush securities analyst Dan Ives says a new tariff threat is clearly an overhang on the conference. This week will bring more corporate earnings and the latest inflation measurement preferred by the Fed for making policy decisions. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. The Hoosiers claimed their first national championship in college football with a win over the Hurricanes.
The university, once best known for basketball, capped a perfect 16-0 season by prevailing over Miami 27-21 in the college football playoff title game. Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza sealed the victory by bulldozing his way into the end zone on a 12-yard run at 9:18 of the fourth quarter. Miami's Carson Beck finished with a touchdown and a game-sealing interception, seeking a winning touchdown in the final minute. The Hurricanes were denied their 6th national title. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Slow going in the markets today as investors react to fears of possibly new tariffs over the Greenland tensions between the U.S. and several European countries. Right now, it's the Dow down by 520 points, the NASDAQ up by 316, and the S&P 500 down by 80. You'll find more of these stories at Town Hall.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, look, it is the first anniversary of the swearing in of Donald Trump for his second 4-year term. By the way, the thing what I liked most about that was when Barron, all 6'9" of them, leaned in to Joe Biden, right? And nobody really knows exactly what he said, but it's rumored that he said it's on. I love that. That's really great. Look, Donald Trump has accomplished so much in this first year. It's incredible. We've got 3 more years of Donald Trump, and they've all been very, very successful, but controversial. And he's over there right now being controversial in Davos, Switzerland, telling the whiny Europeans who can't defend anything, right? When's the last time the Europeans actually had a successful military operation? I can't think of when it was. Oh, I think it was, the 1980s, when the Brits went to Falkland Islands and took it back from the Argentinians? Yeah, there's a big victory. They can't do it. They're weak. And that's what he's telling them. You're weak. You cannot defend Greenland. And right now, if there is going to be an invasion of the United States, it's going to come from the Arctic. It's going to come the ships that are coming from Russia, because it's the Arctic passageways now are opened up a little bit because of the increase in the temperature of the globe. That's where it's going to come. Boom, they're going to come. Or they send missiles over there. Got to have a defense there. And Trump, he was classic. He said, just because they sent somebody over there on ships 500 years ago doesn't mean Denmark has a claim to Greenland. And, oh, by the way, let's remember the Monroe Doctrine, or as we now call it, the Donroe Doctrine, right? No, it's not. There's no way, 15 Germans, 3 Swedes, a couple of Norwegians, half a dozen Danish, quote, military guys with dog sleds and a few huskies are going to be able to defend that part of the world against a Russian invasion or a Chinese invasion. And let's face it, the world is not a very good place these days. And these guys are completely out of control. By the way, you see this also? Donald Trump is coming up with a new idea to compete against the United Nations. He's calling it the Board of Peace. And he's saying, if you want to be on the Board of Peace, you got to put up $1 billion. And what's the Board of Peace going to do? Well, what the United Nations has not done. The United Nations right now is dominated by a bunch of, authoritarian countries that hate the United States and are doing everything to undermine the United States. This whole idea of one world order, can't we all get together, is, really ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. So my prediction is before the end of this year, the United States is going to take over Greenland. It's going to happen. It's all a negotiating ploy. So there we go. We are now going to go and talk a little bit with our very good friend, the well-known recovering journalist, all-star panelist, the one, the only, Clint Brewer. Good morning, Clint.
Sliding in here to home plate. A little late. How are you,
Greenland. Buddy? Greenland. Are we going to take it over?
I don't know. Hard to say. I think we'll make a good offer. Yeah,
Do you agree with me that the leaders of the European Union are feckless about just about everything?
They're not going through a good patch right now. I guess the best way to say it. Europe's got so many problems right now. Economic, migration problems.
The migration problem, probably the biggest one.
No, without question. And, they're struggling to finally pay for their own defense. They've got a deep set of issues over there. We just got out of the holidays, right? It's just barely January, and they had to shut down New Year's Eve celebrations in Paris because they couldn't control crowds. And you look at what's going on over there, and I would think they would be a little more open to this, honestly.
They're weak.
But
the other thing too, I think you can trace the decline of the power of Europe directly to the decline of Christianity.
Yeah, there's a huge argument for that, right? I mean, you could say that about some things in this country too, right? I mean,
not even close to the degree.
No, but
because if you think about it, how many?
It's kind of coming back here, particularly with young people. I mean, there's
as well it should, but I think there was a survey in Sweden that only 2% of the population is Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There are more Muslims in Sweden than there are Christians.
And that issue and many others bring up how Western civilization needs to be more intentional with its immigration and migration policies.
Yeah, but they're weak and they're not going to do it.
I don't think so unless they're forced to. I mean, I think there are going to be political ramifications for. I mean, it's not dissimilar to what we saw in this country when you when you had a political repudiation of Biden, right? And part of that was due to the fact that he had just blown the gates open on illegal immigration. And you look at the UK. There's a big pushback right now in London about just the open gates sort of policy that the country's had. And I don't know. The Greenland issue is interesting. I mean, you look at the things that the president is getting criticized on in this regard, and they all have similarities. Greenland, Venezuela. We're being put in a position as a country where, because of the behavior of China in particular, and to a lesser extent Russia, we are having to, I think, be a little more far-reaching in our goals in terms of territories, in terms of
the word
land
is,
and control, right? And
you know what the word is?
What is the word?
Hegemony.
Hegemony, yeah.
That's what it'd be control of your geographic sphere of influence.
Right. I mean, I think we're having to look at the American imperium a little bit differently, right?
The Monroe Doctrine now morphing into the Dunroe Doctrine.
Yeah, and I mean, what is driving that? I mean, it's a scarcity of natural resources, right? I mean, the way that the economy has morphed around technology. Rare earth minerals are as much of a concern as petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you look at, natural gas reserves are as much of a concern as petroleum. I mean, it is a global battle for control of resources. And that is the true interest in Greenland and Venezuela,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. President Trump has said he wants to set up a board of peace.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw he's had some European countries say, no mas.
No mas?
No, not interested.
I think it's a good move, and I'll tell you why. I think the United Nations is worthless.
It hasn't been effective for a long time.
No. And really, we are entering in a different world where America is really the last bastion of freedom in the world. And we have to thrive and survive, except there's one state at least that doesn't agree with that, the state of Minnesota. We'll be back.
Possibly the state of California. I might add to that list.
Oh, maybe a dozen or so. Back with Clint Brewer after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Clint Brewer, fully recovered journalist.
Yeah, no longer.
All-star panelist, all-around good guy, public affairs specialist. Clint, did you go to church this Sunday?
I did not.
You did not?
I normally do, but didn't this
When you
Sunday.
go to church, because I go to church. I went to church this Sunday here in Tennessee. Let me just tell you, if 60 whack jobs attempted to enter the church, they wouldn't even be able to get into the church in Tennessee.
Unless the church is already filled with 60 whack jobs who go there. There are a few of those around.
Yeah. So, I mean, they invaded that church.
Yes.
And Don Lemon was part of the invasion.
He was in the church.
He was in the church. He stuck his microphone up in front of the lead pastor and said, don't you think Jesus would condemn ICE? I'm paraphrasing. I said, no, we're trying to worship here. You're obstructing my worship, our worship, Don. Get out.
Infringing upon their First Amendment rights.
Indeed.
Denying them their First Amendment rights.
But Don Lemon said, well, we got the right to, our First Amendment right to assemble. Actually, Mr. Lemon.
You don't.
Says peaceably assemble.
And not on private property.
Not on private
property. The church is not a public area. It's not owned by the state, as they love to remind us.
Yeah. And it's a violation of the FACE Act, right, which says you cannot disrupt a religious act of worship.
Right.
Don Lemon and a lot of those people are probably going to be arrested and charged.
Probably should be.
Probably should be. But Don Lemon has, he's got a shtick. He's trying to explain, you might listen to this.
Okay.
He's trying to explain why he was justified in invading the church and why everybody's mad at him about it.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America.
Let me violate the First Amendment rights of people in the Southern Baptist Convention at City
Well, I mean,
Church.
what I heard is their rights don't count because they're white.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it sounded like to me. It is bad. Let's set forth a few facts here. Facts, journalism's important in this country. I mean, it's important to democracy. What you do, Mike, at the Tennessee Star is important to your community. I mean, and for him to hide behind journalism to justify his activism, which is all it is.
It's activism.
And it's a racially toned activism. I mean, those people aren't practicing white supremacy. They're sitting in a church on Sunday morning. I mean, they live in Minnesota. I mean, that's just how their community is. And for him to go after them as being white supremacists for worshiping God on a Sunday morning, I don't even have a word for it.
It's beyond
reprehensible. It's farcical. I mean, his network should fire him. He should lose his job.
He doesn't have a network.
Oh, I thought
he's already been fired.
Oh, that's right. He's not at CNN anymore. What's he doing now? Is he just on his own?
He's on his own.
Oh, well.
He's looking for
then
clicks.
His sponsors should fire him.
He doesn't have any sponsors.
What's he doing? Is this it? Sitting around in a sweatshirt talking
this is it.
I mean,
this is it.
Well, that's why. And
yeah.
and I mean, he just this is I don't have words. I mean, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's racism is what it is.
Yeah.
It's racism.
Yeah.
That is what you just heard.
Harmeet Dillon is looking at prosecuting him under the FACE Act, but also the Ku Klux Klan Act.
Well, it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's fitting. I mean, when you try to say that people, because of the color of their skin, don't have the right to peaceably assemble and worship in this country, that is racism. That is the very essence of racism.
So it's not just Don Lemon who's got these crazy ideas. Democrat leadership has crazy ideas like this. James Clyburn, the powerful congressman from South Carolina, black guy, who in essence gave the Democrat nomination to Joe Biden.
He did.
Back in 2020, because Biden, of course, got crushed in Iowa, got crushed in New Hampshire.
And then all of a sudden was the front runner.
And oh, by the way, you know what the deal was? Biden promised he would name a black woman to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Right? And as a result of this, we have the insane Ketanji Brown Jackson, the worst Supreme Court justice in history. But here, speaking of history, here's James Clyburn talking about it. Clip number 6.
At least, I used to teach history. Mm-hmm. And I used to tell my students all the time, anything that's happened before can happen again. When that phone call was made, find me 11,740 votes. When we saw those people rapping on those windows up in Michigan, trying to set up separate sets of electors, same thing in Pennsylvania. They were trying to set up a process that will allow this country to return to what it was in 1876 when the election got thrown into the House of Representatives, and they were able to overturn what Abraham Lincoln and the Congress had done, successfully getting rid of slavery. Right. That is what they're attempting to do today. I get sick and tired of hearing people say, it's never been like this before. Yes, it has been.
And you're
like
right.
this before.
Okay, so, I mean, that's the thinking of leading Democrats today. What
was the jumping off point for that? What was he? I mean, I understand the history lesson, but what was he? Why were we talking about that?
Criticizing everything Donald Trump's doing.
Oh.
And criticizing the ICE operations.
Oh, I see.
Which is just enforcement of immigration law.
Well, I don't think our listeners care for these people, but President Obama was pretty effective in enforcing the immigration laws.
That was long
everybody
ago.
wants to forget about that.
That was so long ago.
He deported a lot of people. President Clinton was really, really effective at enforcing immigration laws.
What's changed with the Democrat Party in the intervening
but it's just
10 years?
It's just he's right. Everything that has happened can happen again, and what's happening now is largely what happened policy-wise under Obama and Clinton. But nobody wants to talk about that.
Well, we want.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
But the Democrats don't. Why have they changed so much?
It's inscrutable. I don't know. They like losing elections. I can't put my finger on it. I don't. I don't exactly have an explanation for it. I don't think most Democrats have an explanation for it. I mean, I don't think they. I think there's this deep desire in the party to prove that these, gender identity and race identity politics can win, and they haven't yet. They haven't yet.
So my theory is they've realized that people don't like their policies, and that the only way they can maintain political power is by fraudulent elections and by bringing in illegal aliens and, quote, undocumented citizens to vote.
Here's the thing. When there's a concept that I know you're familiar with. This isn't liberal with a big L, it's liberal with a small L. The
19th century.
The concept of a liberal democracy is what every Western democracy has practiced for, 200 to 300 years, right?
Right.
And, illiberal democracy is this, concept of authoritarianism or fascism that the right gets accused of.
Mob rule.
But what people like Representative Clyburn and Don Lemon don't understand or won't admit is that when you go on the air and espouse a view like Don Lemon just did, that is illiberal democracy. That is the very thing you are accusing the right of, which is, the ends justify the means, which is, ignore the rule of law, ignore the Constitution, ignore what creates this country, and get what you want through any path possible. And
that's basically it. They want power. They want power.
And they accuse the right of authoritarianism. They accuse the right of being illiberal. The far left has every problem they accuse the far right of having.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. And now, the stage is set for the first year of Trump has been dramatic. What's the second year of Trump going to be like?
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy.
Well, look, we've already had the public assassination of a major national political figure.
Charlie Kirk.
The first time since Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
That is the height of illiberal democracy. That is the height of authoritarianism. The left, the far left, I have plenty of friends left of center, middle of the road. They're not on board with those things. They're not on board with what Don Lemon just said. But, the far left is the most dangerous thing in America right now.
Yeah, and they are dedicated and are not persuadable.
No.
When we come back, would you like to shift gears a little bit?
Sure.
There was a college football game last night.
Oh, was it ever?
You want to talk about it?
Oh, yeah. It's a great game. Just a great game.
A classic.
Miami's been involved in two of the all-time classics back-to-back.
And Indiana University.
Oh, what a story.
What a story. National football champions. Back with Clint Brewer after this.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Clint Brewer, you are a college football fan.
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
You watch the Tennessee Volunteers, of
course.
Yeah. You root for them? I root for the Volunteers, too.
Absolutely.
And also a bit of an Ole Miss fan, an SEC fan.
Yeah, love SEC football. Big Ten's growing on me.
Big Ten is growing on everybody for a reason. And it's because of the success of the national champions, the Indiana University Hoosiers, who in a dramatic game last night defeated the Miami Hurricanes 27-21. It was at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. So many storylines here.
Huge number of storylines. I mean, aside from Indiana's climb from obscurity,
they were 3-9 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and then they hired Kurt Cignetti.
Yeah, this guy who went his whole career never coaching at a Power 4 school as a head coach until Indiana.
Yeah,
I mean, he'd been an assistant at Alabama. He'd been the head coach at Elon.
Head coach at James Madison.
James Madison took them from obscurity to a measure of prominence.
Google me. I win, he said.
Yeah.
When he was hired.
And his father was a Hall of Fame Division II college football coach.
At Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Right. And it's just such a great story. I mean, aside from the fact that Indiana had never really been a powerhouse on the national stage, the collection of players he put together, in this age of name, image, and likeness, and kids like the Miami quarterback Carson Beck in his 7th year of college, which is preposterous.
Is it 7th year?
Yeah, 7. And he's done. He's done now.
Where was he? He was at
Georgia and somewhere.
He was someplace before Georgia?
I think so. I think he did 5. No, I think he was always at Georgia. He did 5 years at Georgia. Of course, there was a COVID year in there, and then he's done 2 years at Miami.
Got it.
$4 million a year.
Is that what he's making?
Oh yeah, and so Cignetti, the head coach, has just really done it differently. He talent. I mean, the college football's essentially become minor league pro football.
Yeah, semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
Or even minor league.
Or even
AAA.
Yeah, right. AAA pro football. And so Coach Cignetti's approach to talent identification is vastly different.
Tell us about that.
Well, so, the majority of Power 4 conferences out there, they're, looking at resumes. They're looking at where did you play? What size of the program was it? How many stars were you ranked coming out of high school? Signetti just throws all that out the window. And what he says is he looks at only a couple of things. Production, like what are your numbers in college? And coachability.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that might be the most well-coached football team I've ever watched.
It's tremendously well-coached.
And I mean, it rivals Nick Saban's best teams in terms of its
Absolutely.
I mean, just so few penalties, so few mistakes. And I mean, it's telling he doesn't care if you're playing in Division II, if you're playing, at a small school. He just wants to see what your contribution was. What are your numbers? What is your productivity? So like the kid, I mean, this is telling. The star Heisman winning quarterback,
Fernando Mendoza. A native of Miami.
A native of Miami who couldn't get a walk-on offer from the University of Miami.
He mentioned that, by the way.
2-star recruit coming out of high school.
But for those that aren't familiar with the way high school, they're ranked typically by some ranking.
1 to 5 stars.
1 to 5 stars.
Multiple ranking services.
Most of the big colleges just go for 5 stars.
But he ends up at Cal Berkeley.
Yeah.
Does 3 years there. Great numbers. Comes to Indiana. I mean, they were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they were 11-2.
They missed it last year.
Yeah.
But he comes back, wins the Heisman Trophy. One of the most iconic runs in the history of college football.
And let's just set the stage. 9 minutes left. They're up 17-14. But Miami's having a strong second half.
They are. And it's 4-5, and they're at like the 18. So it's not fourth and goal.
Yeah, it's 4th and 4. They're at the 12.
4th and 5, and they're at the 12.
At the 12, right.
So he's just got to get a first down.
But hold on now. Curt Signetti, as the coach, is saying, what a bold decision to go for it at 4th and 5.
Oh, yeah. Well, you had to. I mean, it was just, you had to. You could have kicked a field goal.
Here's what, if they kick a field goal, they go up 20-14, but Miami wins the game.
Yeah, because
you could feel that they're going to score.
Yeah, they figured out how to drive on Indiana, and so they go for it. Mendoza, this crazy scramble, sheds blockers.
I think we have it. Let's just play it.
It's just amazing.
Let's just play it. Let's just set it up. It's a quarterback draw. He steps back. He takes it in a shotgun. He steps back a few steps, waits a beat.
Yeah.
Runs forward. You see him squirm. And he makes it past the first down, and then they hit him, and you think he stopped.
No.
But then he flips around and
spin move, dives in the end zone, stretches out,
into the end, stretches the ball out.
It's great. It's just great.
If you wanted to look at the next Heisman statue,
oh yeah,
it's this kid.
Yeah.
Let's play just for the fun of it. Let's play the clip again.
He's going to take off and run. Mendoza.
Boom.
There's the hit.
There's the strike.
That's crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, my wife had left the room when that came on. She stepped out for a second. And I mean, I just started screaming. I was like, get in here. You've got to watch this replay.
It was good.
Unbelievable. And then, this has kind of been lost in the reporting. The final play on defense for Indiana, it looks like Miami's going to score.
Yeah, it's a 40-yard. They've been driving.
Driving.
There's like 44 seconds left. And
it's a long out pass to the corner of the end zone.
And it looks like the guy is beat.
He was beat.
He was beat.
But the kid for Indiana who picked the ball off is also from the city of Miami. And his lifelong dream was to be a Hurricane. And they
wouldn't offer him.
5'9", 173 pounds. Passed him up, too small. He goes to a smaller school, has great production, great numbers. Signetti signs him, and he puts his hometown team away who passed him over. I mean, it's just...
You can't make this
up.
Well,
and then Fernando Mendoza's parents, the father won a national championship in crew at Miami, and his mother was a varsity tennis player at Miami. His mom has MS, is in a wheelchair. His younger brother is his backup quarterback at Indiana. I mean, it's just one of the most storybook things ever. Not one son, but two won a national championship at Indiana. I mean, they both get rings.
You can't make it up.
No.
And it's a little bit, maybe a little bit unfair, but traditionally, the Miami back in the Miami's been national champions. I think they won the first
multiple
one
times.
Yeah, in 79 or 80 when Howard Schnellenberger was there.
Right.
But they won with Jimmy Johnson. They've won with others.
Yeah.
But there's a classic game when they played Notre Dame.
Oh yeah.
It was called the Convicts versus the Catholics game.
Right.
Miami kind of still has that reputation.
Yeah, well, some of their late hits on Mendoza were not savory. I mean, they were a little dirty in that game. They were a little dirty in the Ole Miss game. I mean, there were a lot of late hits. They don't get called for, a lot of holding penalties.
Yeah.
Miami was they were a very chippy sort of played with a little bit of underhandedness.
Well, and also in the area of sore loser.
Oh yeah,
after the game,
one of their players was swinging on an Indiana player.
Actually, the guy's name is the running back who's very good, Fletcher.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Who had that 57-yard touchdown.
Right, yeah.
After the game, he's wearing his helmet, and some guy in Indiana who wasn't wearing a helmet came over, and words were exchanged. It didn't look to me necessarily like they were, fighting words, but Fletcher swung at the guy.
Yeah.
And went after him.
Yeah. But
the other poor sportsmanship is Carson Beck did not stick around to shake hands with Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
It's just all bad form.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
But
unfortunate. I mean, Miami had a great run.
They played very well.
Well, they were in
half.
2 back-to-back classics. I mean, they barely escaped Ole Miss. Barely. And really probably shouldn't have, because there was a missed holding call on Ole Miss's final.
But they beat Texas. I mean, they made their way into it. They beat Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And then they beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
And Mississippi. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's great. No, there were people who were saying they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
They
I mean, they lost a couple pretty bad losses.
But here's the other thing about this. What does this tell you? Kurt Cignetti comes in. He's 3-9. They're 3-9 the year before he comes in. He goes, his first year they're 11-2. This year they're 16-0, win the national championship. And he's got a very specific philosophy on talent acquisition. But you know who is there helping him along the way with the NIL money?
Oh, yeah.
Mark Cuban.
Right.
Who, by the way, I don't like, but I have to give him credit.
Well, I think the connection there is Indiana's remarkably good business school.
Well, yeah, he went to Indiana.
Right.
And he started this audio company, Real Audio, which became broadcast.com, because he wanted to listen to the Indiana University basketball games.
Right.
And that was, you couldn't do that back then.
Right.
Interesting thing about the guy. The best thing he does is sell himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he sold that business to Yahoo for like $2 billion or something like that. Within 3 years, it was gone.
Right.
Overtaken by technology.
Right.
So he's got good timing.
He does have good timing. And he had good timing with this. I mean, I don't think Indiana's done. I mean, Cignetti, you got to admire the guy. I mean, the guy's 64 years old. He only got a chance to be a head coach at a Power 4 school 2 years ago.
Yeah.
At 62, most guys would have given up by then.
Yeah.
And he just, I just think he's going to be a force. I don't see Indiana going away.
I like his strategy because he said, look, we're in a new different world. The power dynamics have shifted. Cuban and others believed in his approach, and they provided the NIL money.
Right.
So he could go out and build this team of highly productive, coachable, team-oriented players.
Right. And not from the most glamorous places.
Yeah.
I mean, he had kids on there from Kent State.
Yeah.
And, small schools.
Mm-hmm.
They were reeling off the names. I heard this stat, too, that, Miami had something like, I think it was more than 40 different players on the roster who were 4- and 5-star recruits coming out of high school.
Right.
Indiana had 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, just this whole notion of these recruiting services and these rankings and, maybe that maybe that matters when you're an incoming freshman, but I just think that whole system is going to be just blown out of the water by this new view on NIL and Kurt Signetti's view on talent acquisition.
I think the next step is you're going to see coaches follow his approach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's like beyond fabulous.
Well, and you know, the other thing too is that what it's done, you know, the Southeastern Conference has this reputation for football dominance. As much as it pains me to say it, that is just not the case anymore. Yeah. And I think some of these coaches are still chasing the old system, and they better get hip to the new one because it works.
When we come back, News Potpourri. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, you know, Clint, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of irony. Well, here's one for you, Clint. Kansas University is offering a new course, Let's hear what that course is, and I wonder if we'll take this course. Let's play the, get your earpiece in there so you can hear it. Let's play the clip right now.
Angry White Male Studies is addressing topics right out of our own headlines. New at 6, our Kelly Taylor explains what students think about the topic.
Some students thought it was a joke when they saw Angry White Male Studies in the course catalog, and others weren't surprised at all. Angry White Male Studies is already causing a stir. It's been the talk of social media.
Everyone's just like reposting it and like asking if it's a joke or not. Like it's just been on like all the Snapchat stories, so it's been like big news today.
The class charts the rise of the angry white male in America and Britain since the 1905s, according to the course description. Students will explore the deeper sources of white man anger and evaluate recent manifestations of it. We wanted to know why the college is offering.
Clint, what do you think? Are you going to take this course?
Is that a Onion video?
No, they're really doing it at Kansas University.
I guess they don't read the news. I'd check my federal funding deposits account.
Angry White Man Studies.
I think somebody ought to retweet the president right now on that topic.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts. Is Don Lemon teaching it?
He'll be teaching it from the Gray Bar Hotel, I think.
I guess.
After he's convicted for violating the Ku Klux Klan Act and invading that church. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is going to be attending a hearing at the Supreme Court tomorrow to determine whether or not President Trump can fire a Federal Reserve governor who was involved in a little bit of allegedly mortgage skullduggery. What do you think? Are you going to be taking notes?
I don't know what to do with Jerome Powell. He doesn't have much of his term left.
He's there till May as chairman. Now, he could stick around on the board of governors.
Well,
but
I mean, he's not getting reappointed. I don't know why.
Not as chairman. No.
I don't know why he's still there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either. Okay, there's a movement. Interestingly enough, in Alberta, the province, one of the 13 provinces of Canada, it's the richest province in terms of natural resources. Got oil. Calgary, Edmonton are there.
Is Katy Perry having a concert? What are we talking about?
They want to leave Canada.
Oh, they want to secede.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Become their own country?
Well, I have an idea. You ready?
No, it should become part of the United States. Become the 50.
Let's trade Minnesota for Alberta.
Oh, that's or let's just add Alberta.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm joking.
Yeah,
but kind of. I don't know.
That's interesting. What are their grievances? What is their?
Oh, the taxes are so high, and really now, the new prime minister there is cutting a deal with China. I know that it's not good. It's not good at all. Here's back in the arena of international stuff, the new Japanese prime minister, the woman, calling a snap election. You see that?
Interesting. They have a parliamentary system, as our
parliamentary system, and they've got a narrow majority. Her popularity is up, and they're saying she's calling the election because she wants to solidify her power.
Usually in a parliamentary system, why you call a snap election.
I got two words for her.
Yeah?
Winston Churchill.
Yeah, it doesn't always go your way. Yeah.
Yeah, because Winston Churchill, after the victory in Europe Day in 1945, but before victory in Japan Day, decided I saved Britain. I'm going to call a snap election. He lost it to the socialists.
Yeah.
And Britain has never been the same.
Really hasn't.
I mean, it was going down that path anyways.
Yeah.
Speaking of Britain, United Kingdom, did you see Speaker of the House Mike Johnson went to Parliament and addressed Parliament there?
I did not know. How did that go?
Well, he's very good. I mean, if you've ever heard him speak.
Yeah, he is good.
He came in and he's very knowledgeable in the Constitution. Really, he went in very Mike Johnson sort of way. He did not insult them, which he could have. Mm-hmm. Trump would have. But he said, we are proud of our Anglo-American heritage, and it is part of that heritage that is so important, and we really appreciate it, is freedom of speech. And we must maintain freedom of speech and allow people to speak as they wish without fear of imprisonment. Now, they're going the wrong way there.
Yeah, they are.
The other place where they're going the wrong
I just
way.
wish maybe he had petitioned them to take back Harry and Meghan.
Oh, please.
Yeah, is there any way, guys? Can we work this out? Can we send them back to you, possibly?
Really? Oh, my God. The adjective there is insufferable.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Ireland, there is a teacher. Do you have that clip? Let's play this clip right now.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. Refuse to use the they pronoun for a young child. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. It's an abuse of power. Absolute insanity.
Okay, so this teacher, because he refused to use the transgender pronouns that his principal told him to, was put in prison for 560 days. He goes back and gets his job, and he refuses again. They just arrested him again because he won't say they to the transgender male kids there. Wow. Ireland is lost. Australia is lost. Canada is lost. Come on over to the United States of America, Alberta. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. Wow.
And in addition to that, Ireland has Rosie O'Donnell. And I'm Irish, but I got to say, it's not working, guys. And on that note, Clint Brewer.
That's a depressing close, Mike.
Hey, no. Here's the non-depressing thing. We live in the greatest state in the greatest country in the world, and we're going to keep it that way.
I agree with that.
There's the upbeat end. Clint Brewer, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central Time. The website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every